Salutations, my Fallout lovers. It is Matty here today with a Fallout 4 news update. Today we are going to be talking about console mods on the PlayStation 4, and as most of you know, it has been delayed and is still delayed. We have yet to receive an update on the information for that, but we have received a little bit of an interesting conversation from Pete Hines that might give us a hint on what's exactly going on and what's wrong, and also I will be providing some additional information from my friend ACG, or Angry Centaur Gaming, from the podcast him and I did together. He'll be on the channel as well, but nonetheless, I think it'll give you guys some clarity on what exactly is wrong with the PlayStation 4 mods and why they have yet to update everyone on what's going on. But first, let's look at this conversation from Pete Hines. So a Twitter user asks, is there any information on Fallout 4 mods for the PS4 that you can give us? You guys have been silent for 3 weeks now, to which Pete Hines says, we continue to try and get an update so we can share something. We still haven't gotten one. And then the user says, keeping players in the dark is hurting your company's credibility though. To which Pete says, surprisingly, I don't disagree. We have explained that to, quote, others, end quote, so we can get/share an update. So far, it hasn't worked. And then the Twitter user says, I take it by others, you mean Sony. And then Pete says, I'm not going to get into specifics. If I was able to have an open dialogue and explain what's up, I would have long ago. So this is interesting, and mind you that the following video is going to be somewhat speculative because we're going to be assuming that Pete Hines is talking about none other than Sony, PlayStation, whomever. And is it possible that they are the ones holding them back? This is not me attacking any specific console, saying one's better than the other. Nonetheless, we are having a simple discussion about the mod situation on the PS4. Is it possible that Sony is the one holding them back? I know a lot of people would like to point the finger at Bethesda and say it's wrong because they made a false promise and they're yet to live up to it. And mind you, they are totally in the wrong, so please keep in mind that I did say that before you submit your BS comment on how I'm defending them. But it's also possible that it could be Sony. One reason I say that is because Xbox One's modding system for Fallout 4 was relatively issue-free, aside from servers on day one, as well as the issue of stolen mods, which really wasn't the modding system on consoles itself, more so the users of Bethesda.net. Mostly everything else was issue-free, which is also impressive. So how exactly could it be PlayStation or Sony? Well, I'm gonna have my friend ACG step in and explain it to you guys in a technical fashion.
Yeah, so I've covered the technical aspects of why it's not working so well on the PS4. One of the things that worries me is the fact that they've already made it clear, at least for now, that if it does go live, it'll be 900 megs, which is a massive cut, over 100% cut from the 2 gigs that the Xbox One does. And I don't know if people really understand what that means, but basically, if you go to Skyrim Nexus and you look at some of these mods, even their light versions are more than 900 megs. So what you're going to see is a PS4 specific version that's going to require another dumbing down of some things. And you know, I don't think people get it when they look at a texture and they go, okay, this is an upgraded texture. Well, this upgraded texture to look noticeably better may actually be massive, and it won't take many textures to go over 900. It won't take sounds can't be compressed in much more than they already are in MP3, and so there's issues there. Additionally, the PS4's proprietary sound. So the proprietary sound format on the PS4 is one of their anti-piracy measures. It's a very intelligent way of handling piracy. It's one of their ways. So they have this proprietary sound format akin to the Xbox One, which used XNA. I can't remember. They had a proprietary sound format there as well. So what happens is Bethesda will have to create a process that runs on a thread on the PS4. That process will then transcode in real time the audio from an MP3 that they have in their game into this new, or in their mod, into this proprietary version that PS4 can run. The problem is the PS4 and the Xbox One are underpowered. They're already pushed to the limits. So a process that if somebody sees it and they go, oh, it's only going to take 10 CPU, you know, it's only going to take 10%. That's 10%. These CPUs are mobile Jaguar CPUs. They're terrible. They're the number one reason why the consoles are having issues above anything else. And Bethesda stated very clearly that they've got to figure out how to get, they even talked about resources and processing. They have to get that crunch down to like 3 to 7%. And even then, you know, you've got smaller mods and you've got that plus a couple other issues. Sony also holds more memory back of their 8 gigs for their games than Microsoft does. I think right now they raised it and it's 6.5 gigs of their 8 gigs can be used for games. I could be wrong. It might be 6.7. And so what happens is they have a smaller location as well for you to get that mod unpackaged and put into the system RAM. So yeah, it's sad. I mean, PS4 has a lot of positives.
Absolutely.
It's got, it's slightly more powerful when it comes to its GPU, but you're going to eat up a little bit of that. One of the problems is we've seen, for example, in GTA 5, when you played on the Xbox One or the PS4, in busy areas, the Xbox One has a slightly higher frame rate. One of the reasons why is the CPU is only 1 to 200 megahertz faster. That's how much of a difference 100 or 200 megahertz can make.
Interesting.
Because they're CPU choked right now. So I'm hoping the PS4, I'm hoping they figure it out.
And if you guys want to see the full discussion for that video, there will be a link to it in the description. I highly recommend you check it out because talking to Carrick is awesome. I love the guy to death. But nonetheless, what he was basically saying in that little snippet there is that the reason that mods aren't on the PS4 is because of an anti-piracy system. And Bethesda essentially needs to create a workaround in order for Fallout 4 console mods on the PlayStation 4 to work. But the reason he's saying is that yes, they could obviously do that, but when they do that, they have to use up more CPU perhaps, and that CPU could be dedicated to the game. And then he uses GTA as an example where it results in frame dips and lots of other technical issues. So they really have to optimize and compensate in certain areas. And with that 900 megabyte file size for the PlayStation 4 mods, that leads to an even bigger issue because now you have to compress even more when it comes to these already dumbed down mods in a sense. I'm truly hoping things really work out for the PlayStation 4 modding system because I also mentioned that this could affect Skyrim Remastered. Because if Fallout 4 can't work, then how is Skyrim gonna work? And more so, Fallout 4 would be the perfect test run so that you can iron out all the issues so that Skyrim's console mods have a very smooth launch, which I think would be very exciting for people who are getting into Skyrim mods for the first time. Nonetheless, this is still something that Fallout fans are going to be keeping their eyes on. I just wanted to update you guys and give you some additional information. Thank you once again to Carrick for providing his always intelligent insight. I highly recommend one more time you guys check out his channel as well as the podcast him and I did together in the links down below. Other than that, let me hear your thoughts on this. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are in the description as well. Check out SugarBomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.